Good morning, this is Jack from Rth Charts, and this is the pre-market recording for Tuesday, the 10th of November. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts from our HFC trading signals. Right, we went back, we got back to the 35.50 I was talking about, and we went to the low. Why was I looking at 35.50? Because it was where it's thrown from. So what we did was we did a spike and we did a retrace, see them all the time. All right, so where does that actually leave us from a technical point of view? I'm actually going to start with the Rth charts today, which I haven't actually got ready for some reason. That's unusual. Hang on. Wait a second. Because there's one chart which didn't participate yesterday, and it was the NDX chart. And I want to have a look at that and see what the implications of that are. Because I think we're probably going to go back and retest these highs. And I think one of the reasons for that is that we didn't make a new all-time high on NDX. And NDX, it doesn't have to make it now. I mean, we could form a larger flag. This could be, instead of this being 1, 2, 3, 4, this could be 1, 2. Because it made a higher high there, of a larger bull flag triangle. So, but there is unfinished business up here and a retest the high. Now, this didn't actually complete as a full triangle, but it is some kind of compression pattern forming, and we've made a lower high on it. So the question is, are we going to retest the high? I think it's very possible that we're going to. And that when we do that, obviously we'd likely retest the highs on the others. So that's the way I'm leaning here. Let's have a look at the short term. Now, ES, come down. We didn't have a signal of the high. I was hoping for a high retest, didn't get it. But we've come down. We haven't reached the 30 level. We don't have any positive divergence, and we're probably not going to get any. If we do get any positive divergence, it's going to be on NQ, which was the weakest. It went up the least, and it came down the most, relatively. So we're slightly below the weekly pivot there, and if we see another retest of this low, we will get a nice-looking 60-minute buy signal brewing, and that could set us up for the retest this high, which you can see was not retested. Looking at RTY, this had a very good morning, has come back, retested. Not really going to get a great deal in terms of signal here. This looks as though it may well be a bull flag forming, a small one, in which case we could see a lower low today down to 1650 area. It could potentially have bottomed out already, although that is one steep flag, but maybe. And this could be an IHS forming. You see that? That would be the left shoulder, that would be the head, that would be the right shoulder. So we could go up directly from here. If we do go up directly from here, make no mistake, the target for this IHS, as long as we see a sustained break over 1750, would be a retest of this high. YM. YM, again, we've got a little potential IHS. It's only very small. I don't know whether it's going to survive the morning. We're not going to get any positive divergence here, but again, this could have been a bull flag. We could be setting up to retest the high directly, but we're not going to see a pattern for it. This IHS would only get us back into about the 29,700 area in the event that it makes target. So we will see. DAX and the STX, didn't get any sell signals there. Might actually generate one on a retest of this high, but I wouldn't be taking a lot of notice of it. ESTX, again, retest this high. We could get some decent negative divergence, but I think it's really the American indices driving the bus here. So I'm not really paying a huge amount of attention to that. Looking at the Rth charts. Now, on the daily chart, we didn't generate any negative divergence, but we have reached a stage where with a pullback, oddly not. Oh, well, of course, yes, yesterday was still an up candle, all told. If we see a bit of a pullback and a retrace and a retest, we could set up some nice signals. And at the moment, we haven't seen any retracement because yesterday, despite the large pullback from the high, was still actually an up day overall. SPX, we had some negative divergence, which pretty much died at the open. So, but we could go back and retest the high and set some up. I've got the broken triangle resistance down here in about 35.20 area. We could see a test of that this morning. IWM. We've already seen NDX, IWM. IWM actually broke up over my resistance trend line, which was annoying. And I haven't got a replacement trend line yet. We've come back and we are back testing it. I don't think this is happening, but of course, this would be a potential setup where we could be breaking up from this wedge with a target in the huge amount higher area. I don't think that's probably happening here, but I don't have a clear pattern set up here. At the moment, we're back testing broken support that could hold, but I'm not really expecting to because I don't think this is a wedge breaking up. In the event that this got back to this area and held it exactly, I would be taking it the possibility that it was breaking up more seriously. But at the moment, it's just a slight possibility. All right, we had sell signals fixed on Dow. They both failed at the open yesterday morning. We don't have any current negative divergence, but we have gone back and we've retested the high, and that was the 2020 high, and of course that was the all-time high. So we've got a full. Do I think this is the second high of a double top? I think that's unlikely, but this has made that target. We made the target for the flag on SPX. We made it on IWM. And we may even have got, yes, that would have made a new all-time high on the Russell as well. The one we are missing is NDX. It's probably going to need that retest. And I'm going to be watching that this morning, and if we see a retest of the overnight high, low rather, here, and that is at, hang on, 11,533 area. If we see a retest of that, we could set up a nice 60-minute buy signal, and that could start that move. Stan's looking around for a low and at least a back test of the 35.90 area. I'd be leaning higher on the basis that NDX hasn't made the target yet, and we don't have any significant negative divergence. Could we see another day's downside? Not with a lot more downside, I don't think. Yeah, but potentially. Before we do the all-time higher, ideally, it would be nice to be able to set up a situation where we would have a possibility of setting up some sell signals on that retest, and at the moment we don't have that because yesterday was still an up day overall. DX finally delivered the rally. Now there's two options here, and we're seeing exactly the same in mirror image on UUSD. We have a potential IHS here. It hasn't broken up yet, but if it did break up, that would have a target at about the 93.9 area. Is it going to break up? I'm thinking probably not, but it might do. And I'm keeping an eye on it. What I would prefer to see is actually a move here, retest this high, which we haven't quite managed overnight, set up a 60-minute sell signal, and then head back to the lows. And I think that's probably what we're going to see. CB hasn't quite retested the low. That will set up a 60-minute buy signal brewing if we do, and that could head up. CL, again, retest the high. We could set up a sell signal, and we may well see that and see a reversal there. Stan saying otherwise we continue on to 44. Am I seeing a strong case for lower lows in the short term on CL? No. And I've got rising support, I would note, currently in about the 39.20 area. NG has gone a bit lower. We're seeing a break of declining resistance, but it's not strong declining resistance. And I think this might just be a flag forming. This could be heading back to the larger double top target back in about the 2.5 area, which really is just a retracement in the great scheme of things, because that would more or less be a 50 back for the move up from the 1.5 area, because it's hard to remember. It started off from 1.5 and went to 3.4. That's where it would be. So I'm leaning towards that at the moment. We are breaking down, we are back testing. There's no particular reason to think this isn't going to continue down. GC made the sell signal target. We don't have any positive divergence, but we went back and we retested this low. What does this mean? This means we have a potential double bottom here, and I think we've got some buy signals spraying on the daily. I'm really liking this to head straight back up from here, so I would like to see dollar reverse back down. I'm not seeing much of a case for GC going any lower. SI didn't make a lower low, but it doesn't need to. So could this still be an overall bear flag forming? Yes, it could. Short term, this kind of looks like a bear flag too, but if we see a retest of this low, we could set up positive divergence, potential 60-minute buy signal brewing, and really I'm leaning higher on this one too. HG had the 60-minute sell signal has made possible near miss target. Do we have a target below? Only a sloppy head and shoulders, which I'm not really thinking is a real pattern. But can go lower. We're below the weekly pivot, but the sell signal's pretty much played out, and sooner or later I think we're going to come back and retest this high, and it could well start now. USD, again, we've got a head and shoulders. It's broken down slightly, and it's got a possible 6-minute buy signal brewing, and this, if it rejects and gets back over the 118.47 error, I think, then this can actually reject straight back into the high, which is what I would like to see it do. GBP, we had a 60-minute sell signal as well. Did it go down? No, not really. We've got a lot of business on the upside that's really been waiting for the dollar to be weak. If the dollar heads back down from here, I think we'll be seeing 134 sooner rather than later. We will see. All right, USD/JPY. USD/JPY, retest this high, and we've got some possible negative divergence here. This has really been plowing its own fire and just ignoring what the dollar's been doing. So keeping an open mind, but when we retest this high, I'll be watching potential resistance there. We will have a potential 60-minute sell signal break. USD/CAD, no current divergence, possible IHS breaking up here with a target in the 131.25 area. That is basically the same pattern as the one in USD and DX. Same comments. Australian dollar, not the same pattern really. This has been stronger. 60-minute sell signal hasn't really delivered anything so far. It might not. And 60-minute sell signal on NZ really hasn't delivered anything. I'm actually at fix here. So not really taking that particularly seriously at this stage, but we could be looking for a retracement of some kind. KC, we've got a nice looking double bottom set up here. It's trying to break up. Now at this point, of course, we've got an inflection point. This either rejects back into the low or heads back up to the larger double bottom resistance, which is in the 1.137 area. We are on a weak 60-minute sell signal. We could see a bit more retracement, but at the moment it's holding the weekly pivot. Long as that is the case, I'm leaning forward. I'm leaning higher on this, and this looks like a bull flag forming. SB, SB. Hang on, I've got a question. Wait a second. Weekly pivot on GC cannot be right, and it isn't. You're right. That's 1928, and I changed that yesterday morning. But I think, sorry, my system gets to a point sometimes where it stops saving. So I actually changed that yesterday morning, and it's reached that point now, so I'm going to have to remember to save that. Right, I'll try and remember to stay, but no, that isn't right. No, I hope it's... Well, I would like to see a low here, but I think that's probably unlikely to be next week's weekly pivot at the moment. All right, CC. SB still chopping around, consolidating, possible triangle forming. CC. CC, we've... Is this a flag? Kinda. It's not really an IHS. I'm leaning towards seeing a low retest here, but this flag kind of broke up and then broke down, so I'm less certain about it now. ZW. ZW is coming in for a retest of this low. That could be the second low of a double bottom, although that would be a little oversized. Corn. Corn's probably waiting for dollar to turn, which it's probably going to. If so, there's no particular reason this after this 50 back that we can't continue straight up into the retest of this high. Soy. Soy, we've got 60-minute sell signal fixed, hasn't really delivered anything so far, hasn't really retraced much while the dollar's rallied, although the dollar, of course, didn't actually rally a great deal. So we will see how that goes, but this could just resume the uptrend if the dollar's going to turn here. CT. Cotton, this looks like a flag or a triangle forming. Either way, that would lean bearish. LB, we're on a weak 60-minute sell signal. The full size one's got a very good track record of making target. Sure about the weak ones though. This is possible IHS right shoulder forming. Live cattle. Live cattle, that's getting a bit thin because I think I need to roll it. I might be rolling that tomorrow morning. Live cattle has lost all the trend lines this morning, but basically we had a topping setup here. It has failed, and it's gone up high enough that the sell signal has failed too. So I'm going to be drawing in some trend lines when it gives me trend lines again. And looking for a pattern here, but at the moment there's nothing compelling saying this is going to go down. Lean hogs broken up from the flag. Looks like a little bear flag forming, so we're probably going to see a retest of this low. We will see. All right, what questions have we got today, guys? How exactly is RSI divergence established? All right. Good example here. Now, what we do is, let's say, take this one. Okay, we make a price high and an RSI high. Then we make a higher price high with a lower RSI high. That's the divergence. I only count it in terms of signals when it gets to 70. So that's when the start counts when you get to 70 or it gets to 30. Then you're looking for a divergent high or low. And then the signal fixes when it gets below the trough or the peak between those two RSI points. And it's as simple as that. And you have to wait for the end of the period to confirm it because, of course, if it moves, then it might look like it's confirming and then not do it. ES recap with potential targets. ES, I'm really looking for support in the 34.75, 3500 area. If we get that low, and we don't need to, If we're going to get a buy signal, though, we could get as low as that. And another day's downside would help us from an RSI point of view on the daily. We could just resume the uptrend. I would like to see at least an AM low to retest this low on NDX to give us a potential 60-minute buy signal brewing. In terms of stands looking at 35.90 for a rally, I've got to say, looking at NDX, which was the only one of the American indices that I'm following every day, that didn't make a new all-time high yesterday. I think it probably needs it. It looks like a flag setup, and it hasn't made the retest of the all-time high, and it probably needs to do that. So I think that's unfinished business above. So really, I'm expecting this to retest the high, not go much higher in all probability, because, I mean, they've got a vaccine now, and that's great. And, you know, COVID's going to be receding rapidly and probably won't be a problem by middle of next year. Right now, though, we've taken a lot of economic damage, and there's no particular reason the market should be up here. Equally, well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Republicans have kept the Senate, so the question is how negative of the market are the Democrats now? I don't know, but there's certainly still no reason to be up here. I think we're probably topping out. I'm looking for patterns for those, but the chances are we're going to need that high retest, so we will see. All right, any more questions, guys? Okay, that's a wrap. I'm going to be looking for an AM high or low today. If we get an AM high, then we could do a lower low and retrace, possibly get down towards the 3500 area. If we see a retest of these lows, and particularly a retest of the NDX low, then I'll be looking for a potential buy signal there into a retest of the high. Sooner or later, we're likely to retest yesterday's high. I would say. So, but there's no particular case for doing it right now. We could do it right now anyway, but it's not going to set up any daily negative diversions. And really, I'd like to see another day of downside to establish the possibility that we get diversions when we get up there. We will see. All right. Well, my pleasure as always. I'll be watching out for an AM high or low. If we see it, we will call it. So we will see. I think I'm going to start calling. One thing I have noticed is we haven't got a full trade set up on quite a few morning highs and lows, but we have had a 1 minute buy or sell signal. I'm going to start calling those regardless, even if it doesn't look particularly promising for a high or low, and I'm not seeing a full buy or sell setup. It's just because a lot of the time it's catching it anyway, just in a slightly sloppy way. So I'm going to start calling those, and I'll be watching out for that this morning. All right, cheers guys, catch you later.